Well, thanks for staying with us. You're watching Firecrackers, and we're live from our studios here in Lagos, Nigeria. Now, joining me tonight to shed light on security of the nation as we marked our Armed Forces Remembrance Day just 2 days ago. As a media consultant, he's also a public affairs analyst, Deyemi Saka. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, Saka.
It's nice to be here, Kelly. Okay, send this here, so.
All right, we also hope to get a perspective from a former two-term member of the House of Representatives, Honorable Kehinde Odene, who hopefully would join us via Zoom tonight as we consider this particular topic. But let's get things started with you here. Is insecurity straight up still Nigeria's biggest challenge, you think?
Yeah, it is. We don't need to deceive ourselves. We look back, are we better from where we were 2012, 2013? No. Are we worse off? Yes.
Why do you say so?
Oh, well, to some of us, as for someone like me that traversed this country, especially by road, when it comes to northwest, northeast, I can tell you there was a time I could leave Abuja for Kaduna around 4 p.m.
Okay.
There was a time I could leave. I've been to Zamfara from Niger State, and I've had this sense of security. But I can't even try to leave Bida to Mina, anything beyond 7, 8 p.m. I can't try Auchi, Okpila to Abuja, to Okene to Abuja. That's how insecure the roads are. That's how insecure Nigeria is as we speak. You can't travel. The whole of Northwest has been run over by terrorists. Forget about the new...
because your views now is really in contrary to what the coordinator of the Defense Media Operations keep telling Nigerians, Major General John Enenche. I mean, very recently, on Friday to be precise, Enenche was quoted as saying that Boko Haram insurgents no longer have authority over any part of the country, especially in the northeast, where the insurgents once had a stronghold.
Well, at least let's this is the misinformation Nigerians were fed over time, and we believe before. Yes, there was a time Boko Haram was controlling some parts of the country, but before the 2016 and 2015 general elections, the 6 weeks extension they asked for, the Jonathan administration asked for, those guys were pushed out of the country. You could check on the internet, like they used to say, why campaign, Google is their friend, it's on Google. International media shared that story, that before the 2015 general election, there was no, safe to say, there was no region or territory under the control of Boko Haram. So Nigeria has been rid of Boko Haram controlling the territory with the power 2015, May 29, 2015. So the question is, what happened? Why didn't they sustain the pushback? Why did these guys now become so daring? Because forget what they're telling you, forget about the classification. I don't believe it is band that is fighting and destroying or probably ravaging the northwest. It is still Boko Haram. It's just the de-escalation of the insecurity by media that start bandying the word bandits.
Let's shift focus now to the allegations and counter allegations, the back and forth between the ruling APC and the main opposition party, I mean the PDP. I mean, very recently it was in the news that the APC accused a particular governor, an unnamed 7th governor, of sponsoring insecurity in the country.
Well, let's get specific. The person that made the allegation is the acting publicity secretary, is the deputy publicity secretary of APC, Nabena. And I think if the DSS really want to help Nigeria, they should invite him for questioning, because that statement is enough to set the country on fire.
But this is not the first time such an allegation has been made.
I know, because when they argue, you should know where that thing came from. It came out just after the Kankara boys' adoption.
Yes.
And everybody celebrated the role played by Governor Mohammed Bello Matawale of Zamfara State, and I guess that was the person his rising profile probably was what was so it became a source of jealousy or envy, if I could say that. But for me, you probably want to criticize his approach probably because he got to Zamfara State and his priority was just to keep his people safe at all costs and by all means necessary. And he hasn't gone out overboard or probably out of any means to do that. Now, you look at the federal government that is in bed with terrorists. I will say in bed with terrorists and I will explain that. You came up with a de-radicalization program. That's the brainchild, the PETS project, the darling baby of the presidency. And that hasn't stopped or curbed or brought to an end the insurgency in the country. Rather, they became more daring. So who is probably romancing insecurity? Is it materially of for President Muhammadu Buhari, even through his rubber stamp National Assembly now, is even clamoring for foreign education for bandits or terrorists?
But help us understand, are things worse than the PDP administration? I mean, when we kept hearing about a lot of bombings and all of that, I think it's better now, because I'm trying hard not to play the devil's advocate here, but do you think that things are worse now?
Yeah, things are worse now. And so sad. Things are, because forget about the propaganda, the noise, and what they came up with. Things are worse because I don't like comparing bad things or bad news, but we knew, even when they tell you that there are no bombings again in Abuja, there are no bombings all over the country, you could still ascribe it to the 6 weeks of pushback by the Jonathan administration. There are no bombings everywhere like we used to, but even Edo State is not safe, even Enugu is not safe, even Ekiti is not safe.
Is it a Nigerian problem, or it's even an international problem? Because there's terrorism, I mean, all around the world. So I'm not sure.
When I used to say this, a friend of mine said something to me. He said, Yemi, if your neighbor wife has a miscarriage, does it make your wife having a miscarriage a good thing? No. It doesn't. Insecurity is bad. You see, during the Jonathan's era, what have you could probably say it's just limited to Northeast and pocket of bombings here and there. But now the whole of Nigeria is not safe.
Is the government spending enough in terms of security, in terms of funding the military and all?
No, we are not. And we are not spending like a serious country that wants to end this war. I will say this with all sense of responsibility. I won't just be here standing here bashing the Nigerian army or the Nigerian military, but it's been like that. I think our defense spending is as if we're just taking this thing like a Boy Scout thing. And a rough estimate for you to fight this war and win this war, I think every branch of the military should have it, apart from the Air Force, every branch of the military should have its own air corps. The Army doesn't have its efficient air corps. They're probably trying to equip that arm of the Army. And another thing that we're saying, apart from the Army, the military, the Army, the Air Force, and the Navy and what have you, there is a need for us to have a decentralized CTU. The architecture they have where there's only one CTU domiciled at the NSA office is just as if we are just writing things or theory. Every state must have its own CTU command. And to set up a CTU command, you probably need to spend hundreds of millions of naira. And we're not serious, because it comes with armaments, it comes with gears. Sometimes you probably might need to have one or two helicopters for close air support or medical evac or whatever.
All right, Yemi, let's take a breather. When we come back, we will go back and look at this issue of allegation and the back and forth between the APC and the PDP. But that's in a moment. Stay with us. We'll be right back.